bought this 2021 14-inch M1 Pro MacBook Pro even though the updated M2s just came out. Why did I do this? The results actually might shock you. Let me explain. If you found this video by it being suggested, I do all things related to Apple, the good and the bad. If that sounds like your thing, please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you won't miss my next video when I post it. Thank you. There are several reasons why I decided to pick up an almost 2-year-old M1 MacBook Pro. So this is the machine I've replaced. It's a 2018 MacBook Pro, which still uses that Intel chipset. This machine is not upgradable in any way after the purchase. Also, it recently decided to turn the fans on full blast all the time. Eesh. I did use it for some basic editing every once in a while, although it wasn't super great. And of course, everyday use like browsing, emails, all that good stuff. It worked fine. So it was about time to upgrade. Now, I could have got something just a little bit newer than 2018, but I have a second reason.
Light bulb.
My office is in my basement.
What was that? Not again.
While it's a great place for filming and to keep stuff that I use, for editing, sometimes I do actually miss sunlight.
Goddamn bright out here.
So I decided to set up a spare room upstairs and turn it into an editing spot. This is the reason why I got that LG widescreen monitor. Of course, that 5K iMac I turned into a display might work. And maybe get another one? The last reason, of course, is the biggest one, and it's kind of an extension of the second reason. With the performance of the M1 chip in general, I was confident that it could do 90–95% of my editing on this machine, and if it was too much for it, I could just go ahead and shift down here to the Mac Studio. So the machine that I picked up, what does it come with? It's a 2021 M1 Pro MacBook Pro, 10-core CPU, 14-core GPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and a 1TB SSD. I was looking for a while and I wanted to get the right deal, and I ended up finding this one on Swappa for about 1,900 bucks. Now, I could have gotten the 2023 MacBook version with the updated M2 chip, but that would have cost me almost 800 bucks after tax. It's been a little over 2 months since I picked this machine up, and here are my results. Now, for those of you who just want the short answer, it actually surpassed my expectations. I've edited several videos on this machine, and it's worked almost perfectly. The longer answer for those looking to upgrade and save money, let's go ahead and break it down. Now, for me personally, the 2023 version wouldn't have been worth that additional almost 800 bucks for a number of reasons. Number one, I've got the Mac Studio and it's more than what I need. Number two, the M1 Pro and Mac's chips are still way more powerful than what most people need, including me. Number three, I won't be editing on this every day, and to be completely honest with you, I'll mostly use it for the video prep, emails, and when I'm on the road and I do need to edit. And number four, when I bought the 2021 M1 Pro version, I opted for that 1TB of SSD storage, which would allow me some extra space for some smaller edits. I just wouldn't have to carry around that external drive, which would be nice sometimes. If I wanted to save a little bit more money, yeah, I could have gotten the 512 gigabytes of storage and definitely needed the external drive for editing and probably some other stuff. So far, so good, right? Well, Apple changed the way that the latest and greatest SSDs were set up in the 2023 M2 MacBook Pros. That 512 SSD base model are almost half as fast as the 2021 SSDs. Even if I wanted to save some money and get the 2023, I didn't want to risk poor performance because of these specific changes. Do better, Apple.
Freaking idiot.
Now, I'm sure at this point of the video, people already started commenting, why would you bother getting an older machine? I've talked about using older equipment depending on what you need them for. Pretty much every Apple product out there has a shelf life much longer than anything you can find non-Apple. Are they perfect? No, I will be the first to admit. However, I've used many other brands, and while I can certainly say they might be able to get the job done, the pricing isn't really all that different anymore. Especially for people who want a machine that just works. Does it suck to pay more for storage because Apple has, I don't know, a premium cost to it? Yeah, that does suck, I'll be the first to admit. But everything else is on par with the rest of the competition. So don't feel like because you aren't picking up the 2023 M2 latest and greatest that you're getting something worse. Thus proven by the change that they did with the SSDs. As for why I maxed out to 32 gigs of RAM on this machine that I found, which is not a cheap upgrade, when Apple first introduced the M1 chip, being able to determine which configuration to get for the best performance was pretty difficult. From CPU, GPU, memory, to storage, we were entering new territory. It's been almost 3 years since Apple started using this chip in pretty much every piece of tech that they use, with the exception of the iPhone, which has its own modified silicone chip. We've also seen more than enough data to determine that depending on what you want to do with your machine, you might not need to pay for more storage or memory. For me, I wanted to make sure that this 2021 that I picked up had enough memory to give it every opportunity to be able to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Hell, the base configuration can probably kick out almost anything that people need. Getting more storage or memory is usually something you might want to think about adding as programs and software continue to evolve and require more power. Now, the issue with one of those two specs is the memory is not upgradable after the purchase. Yes, I understand neither's the storage, but that's something that you can always add after the fact at a fraction of the cost that Apple charges. And as I've mentioned already, yes, it's not as fast as the internal storage. However, most of us would be just fine with the speeds that these bring. Yes, even the 2023 crappy SSDs. I know I knock it, but for most things, it's fine. Most of the time when I edit on this machine, I have all the content on an external drive and it barely misses a beat. It's clear that I really like this machine, but that doesn't make me a fanboy because the proof is in what I have been able to do with it. I mean, I am deep in the ecosystem, but I still will call BS when I see it. That leads me to some things that I wish were better with this machine. I would like to test the time that it takes to render out a video on a new machine. The video I did on WWDC was 22 minutes long. The rendered file, 6 gigabytes. I certainly noticed that the time it took to finish was a lot longer than I'm used to on my Mac Studio. Obvious reasons. It's not something that I'm too concerned about, considering I try to upload my videos a day or two in advance, and if it takes time to render out, well, I'll do something else while it's working. Some people don't have that luxury, so I wanted to mention it. Now, I could always use more ports, even the 2023s have the same number of ports, but I think that's a topic that's dead since Apple gave us an SD card slot and an HDMI. Speaking of the HDMI port, 2.0 on my 2021, and yeah, probably just a limitation of the M1, but I think right now I'm just nitpicking. If you're in the market for updating an older machine, like I was, I hope this helps someone be able to make a more educated decision when shopping. By the way, since getting this machine, Apple has released the MacBook Air with the M2 chip, and yes, a 15-inch screen, which is nice. It is also missing some things that are important to me, but is the performance better than my M1 Pro chip machine? Should I pick one up and compare it? If you want to go ahead and see that, give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. While I'm working on that video, go ahead and check out if I made a mistake buying the M1 Mac Studio last year, right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you won't miss a video when I post it. See ya!